Hello, everyone, and welcome to MeowMix, the Carolina Panthers podcast. My name is Steven.
My name is Jerry.
And on this episode, we talk about the new Panthers. Brand new, sort of.
Kind of.
Frank Reich's gone. Jerry did a solo pod yesterday talking about, or was it Monday?
It was Monday because
Monday.
I was out sick at work because
Yep.
I woke up and heard the news and I was like, oh.
Yeah. I didn't know you got sick days for... Never mind. So, yeah, Frank Reich is fired. Jerry did talk about it and very kindly read the text messages that I sent him about my thoughts on it. But basically, yeah, we're happy he's gone. It sucks. I wish that things weren't going this way. I wish that Frank, in the first place, was never hired.
Yes.
But since he was hired, I wish it would have worked out. Obviously, seems like a great person, but it does not seem like he's a good head coach.
No, not at all. He doesn't seem to be able to fit his players. He has his own mindset, and that's what's going to work. In fact, I heard since his firing that the front office, don't know, I just heard front office, went to him the week before the last game and was like, hey, Bryce Young played great in an RPO system. Let's put him in more some of those RPOs that he succeeded in Alabama. I'm not a big fan of RPOs, but I get it. That's an understandable reason to do that. He said, no, that's not what I'm doing. That's not what we're doing here.
It wouldn't surprise me. I also heard that... Oh, did you have some more?
I was just going to say, I mean, you tell the front office that after they tell you, hey, this is kind of what we want to see some more of this, and then you lay another egg out there against one of the worst defenses you face.
Yeah, what I had read was that over the last couple of weeks, really since he took back play calling duties from Thomas Brown, that he was pretty much ignoring anything and taking the collaborative effort stuff was out the window. So I think he was desperate, trying to force his scheme down everybody's throat and make it work, and it just wasn't working. So I am very curious. I would not say I'm optimistic, but I am curious to see what the team looks like in the coming weeks. I don't expect there to be too much change this week because there just hasn't been enough time. But over the next few weeks, what do we see from the offense that's different? Do we see more of the RPO stuff? Do we see more shots downfield? Do we see a change up in the blocking scheme?
That's what I'm hoping for. More protection changes than anything else.
Yeah. So I'm very curious to see what can be done, with the current players as constituted right now. I do think there will be changes. I think the Panthers will look better. It always seems like to be the case, right? Like Jeff Saturday came in and got a win in his first week with the Colts last year.
I will say with Steve Wilkes, when he took over last week or last year, it didn't make we lost badly his first week. And I was like, oh no. And then he started getting it together. So if they look bad, don't freak out. You got to understand this is
1 in
1
10.
week. Yeah. I mean,
there's no reason to freak out at this point anyway.
Well, I guess you're absolutely correct on that. But I'm just saying, in general, there's no point of, hey, we fired Frank Reich for nothing. Look, 1 week is not enough to completely change a whole system on offense.
Right. Yeah, but it will be interesting to see what does change. I was listening to Chris Tabor speak today. He had a press conference, and he doesn't say anything. He's the most coach speaky guy that you'll ever meet. He does seem to be very excited about the opportunity.
Oh yeah,
he's a very likable guy. He seems very energetic. And, maybe that rubs off on the team. He did talk about they changed up some of their meeting stuff. They are having longer position meetings now. again, I don't know that translates to anything on the field, but maybe they're a little more prepared.
Yeah.
Maybe.
You never know. I mean, you don't know what's going to light a fire under some of these guys. You never know. So
Right.
And again, I have no problems with Tabor taking over. I think
I think it's league. I think it's a good choice.
Yeah, he's been in the league for a while. He's done the interim thing before. I have a little soft spot for special teams coaches, especially when they get a head coaching job, just because they don't get that attention. But I was like looking. It seems like when they do, for the most part, they do have some success. Now, Joe Judge for the Giants did not, but John Harbaugh has. Bill Cowher was a special teams coordinator before. He was a defensive coordinator too. So
yeah,
but.
Yeah, I saw some consternation from some fans about Evero or Thomas Brown not getting the job. But I like that they're going to continue to be able to focus on. First of all, I really like Thomas Brown's going to have full reign over the offense.
Yes.
Let's see what he can do. Let's see. This is going to be a big opportunity for him. And I think an even bigger opportunity than if he were given the head coach.
I agree.
Job where likely the Panthers are only going to win 1 or 2 more games this season at best. So let him turn the offense around. And if he gets the offense rolling, even with 2-3 games left to go, that's a boon for him. That's a nice feather in his cap. So I like that. Evero has been doing a good job with the defense all year. I could have seen him being the head coach. I could have seen the interim thing for him. I think it makes more sense for him than it did for Brown. But again, I think keep that defense rolling. Tabor was a good choice. Caldwell would have been an interesting choice.
Yeah, Caldwell is supposed to be helping Brown, but I'm glad he didn't get the. I prefer it this way, to be honest with you. I would have preferred Evero or Tabor. I think those two are the good choices.
Yeah, so I like it. And again, we're 1-10. Frank Reich was just. I hate that this is now the second year in a row we fired a head coach during the season, right? That's never good. But Frank Reich was not the right guy.
He was getting Bryce Young killed, and he kept going with the same. I guess my biggest problem was he was getting him killed, and there was no progression from Bryce. There was no progression from the offense.
Regression.
And Frank Reich, and he just never really tried to do anything different. It was like, come on, man, you got to try something different, and it wasn't.
He had no ideas. He didn't know how to fix it. He just didn't know how to fix it. There have been reports from various places saying that he initially, he wanted Stroud and it was forced upon him. I don't know how true that is. Tepper came out and refuted all of that, as I think he would. But let's talk about that real quick. So David Tepper spoke yesterday.
Kind of.
He spoke. He didn't say much, but he spoke. He talked a lot about the concerts that he's brought to Bank of America Stadium.
Dear God, David Tepper, stop bringing that up. No Panther fan gives a rat's butt behind about that, okay?
What about the high school football?
Oh, yeah, high school football wasn't here either. Shut up. Seriously. Quit puffing your chest out like you're the greatest thing that came to North Carolina. Stop it.
Jerry, he's the bringer of music.
By the way, that David Tepper, bringer of music, that should be his nickname. No, seriously, stop it. It is annoying when people are talking about how bad your football team is, and you're still acting like, oh, you never knew what concerts were. You know what concerts do? They line your pocket more when they go fill up Bank of America Stadium. I don't go to the concerts. Do you go to the concerts?
No, I don't care about those.
We don't care.
Concerts in a giant stadium like that are terrible.
Exactly. No one
They're
cares.
always bad.
The people that go to those, for the most part, aren't the diehard Panther fans. And if they are, they're not saying, oh my God, thank God for David Tepper because he brought, I don't even know, some country music star here. No. We're saying, hey, this team is 30-60 under your reign. We fired 3 head coaches. Come on. We look like garbage because of you. Get your head out of your behind and start paying attention. Stop acting like you're a football guy. You're not. You suck. Let the football guys do the majority of the decision making. Not this.
He's touting his accomplishments of things that he's brought to the city, right? Because he's obviously not brought good football to the city. He brought a soccer team. He's brought concerts to Bank of America Stadium. Bank of America Stadium has way more events than it has had in the past, sure. Again, the only events that I care about going on in that stadium are Panthers football and Charlotte FC. I do care about Charlotte FC.
I like Charlotte FC, but I don't like. You can take them away if I could get playoff wins for Panthers.
Yeah, have your music press conferences or your high school football press conferences or your Charlotte FC press conferences. Well, this was obviously a Panthers press conference. Nobody wanted to hear that crap. Nobody cares about that crap when it comes to the Panthers. We just want to see good products on the field. And the way he answered the question where he was talking about all this was basically, what can you tell the fans who you told to be patient 4 or 5 years ago, and the patience is wearing out? Well, he talked about music and high school football. Like, that's terrible. What a terrible answer that was.
Not only that, he never seems to want to take any fault. Nothing's his fault. He hired Matt Rule. He hired Frank Reich. Those were his guys. He hired them. There was no other people really helping out. That was his hires. They failed. Say, hey, I think I'm learning lessons. Something. No, he ducks and dives. It's his ego's too big to accept he's wrong.
Well, so when he fired Matt Rule, he did say that he had made a mistake by hiring a CEO type head coach, which to me, in hindsight now, seems like he wanted to hire a head coach who just did whatever he said, who just followed orders blindly. And Frank Reich, for all of his strengths, didn't feel like a guy who's going to go stand up to the boss. He feels like a guy who knew his place, right?
Well, I don't know. I mean, if he was being told to run stuff and he wasn't doing it.
Yeah, who was telling him that? I don't know. Was it Scott Fitterer, who's a dead man walking? I don't know. I did read something today where someone said that Tepper was watching a play or watching a Cleveland game and saw a play and wrote it down on a piece of paper and gave it to the offensive coordinator. I was like, "Here, I need you to run this play. I like this play. Run this play." I mean, if that's true, just maybe the worst example of his meddling, but yeah, he honestly didn't say a lot in the press conference. He didn't talk about why he fired Frank Reich, other than to say 1-10 is not good enough, and that he didn't see progression, he didn't see improvement, right? Which is fine.
Yeah,
I think we all saw that, right? But he wouldn't talk. He didn't answer any questions about Scott Fitterer. He wasn't even asked a question about Scott Fitterer until the very end, as he was walking off the stage. He ignored it. He didn't give Scott Fowler.
He didn't let any of our beat writers ask any questions.
He let I think Joe Person asked some questions, but he did not let Scott Fowler speak. Scott Fowler was in the front row with his hand raised the whole time. He and Scott, I tweeted out, Scott Fowler and David Tepper are is the best rivalry in Panthers history.
I mean,
which I think is the case at this point.
I it's so sad. He can't take it. He can't take losing. He's never had this issue, and he's a spoil sport. That just, we have a little toddler child billionaire as our owner right now. That's the way I view him.
Until proven differently, the bringer of music. Until proven differently, until he can show that he has learned some lessons.
Yes.
And until we can see a winning product on the field, then he deserves every bit of criticism coming his way.
He doesn't seem to get it. We get it. You were a fan once too, but show some sort of chutzpah for apologies. hey, I'm going to hire a new. First of all, we need to get a new GM. Let's be honest. Look at the drafts Fitterer has done.
100%. We're going to. I mean, Scott Fitterer hasn't spoken in months. He has not been out there in months. I 100% he's gone at the end of the season.
I think so too. I think none of the claims and stuff like that on some of these good waiver wires, I think speaks volume. The guys on WFNZ, their middle show today, I don't know, their afternoon show, whatever, was talking about they're going to put out a missing persons report on Scott Fitterer because they haven't seen him in so long.
Yeah, he's disappeared. He's been, the keys have been taken away, I would assume, but yeah. So not, I was excited to hear him speak, and I came away very disappointed and with no real hope. I mean, we'll see what he does. We'll see what he does in the offseason. Does he hire a search firm? I hope so. It would be a good idea.
Yeah.
For both GM and head coach. He did. What did he say? I don't remember. Maybe I dreamed this, but I think that they're going to hire the coach first.
Of course they are, because he wants to do it backwards, unlike everybody else in the NFL.
And then the coach will have a big hand in hiring the next GM, which I don't. To me, that is backwards.
It's backwards in the NFL.
Yeah.
He's been doing this since he's been on. He's not learning his lessons. That's basically, if he does it that way, he's not learning his lessons.
Yeah, agreed. All right. Well, that's that. There was one move that was made. We assume it was made by Scott Fitterer. We bolstered the offensive line a bit, Jerry.
Yeah. Panthers signed guard Gabe Jackson, formerly of Seattle. Good pickup, in my opinion, for this late in the season, especially with all the injuries on our offensive line. And, I mean, not only injuries, the lack of talent and playing ability of our guard position this season. So I'm good with it. I like it. He's an older guy, but, I mean, if he can protect, I'm all for it right now. I don't care about the future. I want to care about keeping Bryce Young healthy right now.
Yeah. I went back and looked at his PFF grades over the last few years, and kind of average. But at this point, give me average. Give me an average guy on that line, because what we've seen up to this point has just been garbage. And again, maybe the scheme changes a bit. I was one of the 4-man rush guys posted some stats about the offensive line this year versus last year, and basically going from that power blocking scheme last year to the zone blocking scheme this year, and what a massive difference.
That's what I've been screaming.
With mainly the same. Yeah, you've been on it the whole time. but I was looking at, he was showing the stats and everything, and how, top 10 offensive line last year, number 31 of 32 teams this year, with largely the same talent for a portion of the season at least. Just why would you come in and change that? You have a top 10 offensive line that you've inherited, a head coach's dream. Why would you screw it up so badly?
Because Frank Reich, this has been my biggest problem with Frank Reich. He doesn't seem to adapt to the players he has. He wants them to adapt to his scheme he has. And that's not the way you need to play in the NFL.
I think that's just the sign of a bad head coach.
Exactly. Now, in college, it works because you can go cherry pick those guys out.
Right.
It doesn't work in the NFL because you get talent no matter where they're coming from. There's talent.
And it takes, sometimes 2-3 years to assemble the talent to fit that scheme, right? You can't come in and just try to fit a team that you've inherited around your scheme. It's asinine. It never works. It never works. And I had higher hopes for him, but all right. What's next, Jerry?
Game preview?
Okay. Yeah, well, there is a game coming up. There is a game coming up. Panthers traveling to Tampa Bay to face Baker Mayfield and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. All right. Well, Tampa Bay 5.5-point favorites.
Sorry, I kind of wanted to rant about the David Tepper.
No, it's good. It's good. I think that's what,
Since hearing it, honestly, that was my thing I was looking forward to.
It's just so stupid. All right, so over under 37, about what we've seen the last several weeks from Panthers not facing a Dallas Cowboys type team. Wouldn't say that the Buccaneers offense is explosive, really, despite the talent that they have, but
19.3 points per game.
Yeah, which is, for if we were averaging that, we'd be probably 5-6.
Yeah,
6-5, something like that. I mean, just what a waste! What a wasted season. Okay, so none of that today. All right, Tampa Bay Buccaneers injury reports. Jerry, go.
Oh, threw it straight at me. Okay, I like how that was. Injury reports for Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Some big names on here. Lavonte David, groin injury, did not practice. Jamal Dean, defensive back, ankle foot, did not practice. Servolsi, oh God, Dennis, illness, did not practice. Yeah, I'm not going to say his name. Mike Green, defensive tackle, calf, did not practice. Now, limited practice, we have Carlton Davis, cornerback, ankle, and Devin White, linebacker, foot. Now, going to full practice is Baker Mayfield, ankle, and, swollen head. Moving on to Carolina Panthers. All honesty, those are some huge names in Lavonte Davis, Carlton Davis, Jamal Dean, and Devin White, even though I think Devin White will play as just a limited practice.
Yeah.
So.
And obviously Baker's going to play.
Yeah.
Panthers, everybody's hurt. I mean, honestly, there's like 15 names on this list.
It really is.
Let's go with the DNPs first. Von Bell, Marquise Haynes, Hayden Hurst, Taylor Moton, Laviska Shenault, Adam Thielen, Tommy Tremble, Chandler Zavala, Johnny Hecker. Now, Johnny Hecker is listed as personal. Taylor Moton is always DNPs on Wednesdays, so
yeah,
not too concerned about those guys, but everybody else up in the air, have no idea.
Adam Thielen is also rest.
Good. Yep, missed that one. Limited practice, got Chin, Gross Matos, J.C. Horn, DJ Johnson, Cade Mays, and then C.J. Henderson listed as a full practice participant. So he is transitioning through that concussion protocol. Probably will see him.
Now, is it good that we can see him?
DB has not been a problem in the last couple of weeks.
I was going to say, I am not hating on Troy Hill and Bootley or stuff.
Well, Boodle's out for the year.
Yeah.
So, unfortunately.
But Dante has been playing well, so
yeah, Dante Jackson's been playing well. I mean, if we could get Horn back, that would be great. Is this the last? It's either this week or next week is the last week that they could activate him, or he goes back on IR for the rest of the year. So,
and I'll be curious. I'll be curious about Jeremy Chin if he's healthy enough to play. Like, is he gonna even get 5 snaps? I mean,
he played last week, right?
I don't remember, to be honest with you.
I think he was out there last week. It's a battlefield. Tabor is inheriting a shell of a team.
Yeah,
unfortunately. So, all right. Well, how do the Panthers that actually suit up win this game?
Score points. First and foremost.
That's gonna be a good start. That will be a good start.
Well, honestly, even if they don't win, they need to get some sort of rhythm on this offense. I know that this was a common saying earlier on this season, but now that Frank Reich's gone, let's see what Thomas Brown has. Let's see if he can kind of get into a rhythm. See if he can, because when Thomas Brown was calling plays, I did notice that there was a little bit different play calls occasionally. Like, it wasn't the same 5 or 6 plays over and over again.
Well, yeah, they weren't successful really, but at least they were trying some different things, right? So, yeah, I don't know. It's hard to know what to expect. Again, it's only been a few days, so I can't imagine it's going to be that different. But,
Mm-hmm.
Thomas Brown has full control of the offense now. He, along with Jim Caldwell, are going to be crafting this offense. And I do expect, again, maybe not this week, but I think next week we're going to see a lot of things that we haven't seen so far this year. And I'm excited about that.
Mm-hmm.
I would say one of the keys is going to be getting your hands up on the defensive line because we have seen Baker Mayfield struggle mightily when some passes get tipped at the line. And we've got some big, tall, beefy guys on that line. So I would expect to see 3 or 4 tip passes straight at the line this week. Get Baker off his rhythm. Hit him a couple of times. And we've seen firsthand how he can get rattled and then things just go downhill.
Yeah, and if he under pressure, he's not good. I mean,
Yeah.
that's been his MO his whole career. PFF grades this year say the same thing. I mean, he's 50.7 when he's under pressure.
Yeah.
I mean, that it dramatically goes down. Now, when you blitz and don't get pressure on him, he's actually really good this year. So, 81.
Yeah, he has. I mean, the Bucs are 4-6, but they're a game out of first place in the NFC South. Again, man, this division was so winnable.
So winnable.
This division was so winnable, and you just play average offense. We're leading the division right now, but neither here nor there. Yeah, so we'll see how Baker looks. Again, I've been surprised at how competent he has looked this year, considering how I thought his career might be over after last year, as a starter at least. But he's gone in there and he's played fairly well against the Bucs.
And when you're playing him, guard Mike Evans. He loves to chuck it up to Mike Evans, and rightfully so. He's 850 yards receiving and 9 touchdowns. I mean,
if C.J. Henderson does play, do not let him play against Mike Evans.
I laugh because I'm afraid of that.
Like, hopefully J.C. Horn is healthy, because I think that's the only way we can stop Mike Evans. I don't think Troy Hill is fast enough to stop him. I don't think, or big enough. Dante's fast enough, but he's
not big enough.
He's not big enough.
Mike Evans will just jump over him and dominate him, in my opinion.
I mean, we've seen it.
Yeah.
It's what happens. So, yeah, I would like to see double Mike Evans, hit him off the block, get him off his game a little bit, do something to slow him down. Because if he gets going, I mean, he can get 200 yards on us in a blink of an eye, 3 touchdowns, and the game's over. So.
Yeah.
All right, bold prediction time. Jerry, take it away.
My bold prediction is the Panthers score 3 touchdowns this game. 3.
Oh, my God.
3.
You're cut off. That's insane. It's insanity. 21 points? What?
Hey, it's a bold prediction, okay?
It is, but it's extremely bold. I think that we will see twice as many runs from the Panthers as we will see passes this week.
Oh, and I am all for it. Especially against a team that, I mean, if you get behind, there's a different story, but...
I think it's going to be a low-scoring game. I think you're going to see like a 40-20 run-to-pass split. And I think that Bryce will have a good game. I think it's just going to be, he's not going to be asked to carry the team by himself.
And that's what he should have been asked to do the whole time. You don't need him, or they shouldn't have tried to put so much on him.
Yeah, agreed. All right, game predictions. My heart wants to pick the Panthers to win this game. My brain says we're 1-10. We just fired our head coach. Half the team's not practicing. who knows who's going to play, who's not going to play. But I don't care. I'm going to pick the Panthers to win this game. 17-14, Carolina Panthers.
All right. I'm going to go with my bold prediction just because I already made it.
You already did? Yeah.
24,
we know you have to at least have 21.
24-13 Panthers.
Hey, all right. Okay, well.
Now, I am not putting that money.
This is the first time in a while that you and I have both picked the Panthers to win.
Now I am not putting any money on this game. So
No, do not bet on this game. Nobody bet on it. If you're going to bet for the Bucs. Don't bet on the Panthers to win this game.
Bet the under.
Bet the under for sure. Yeah.
37.
I could see the Panthers covering.
I could
even if they don't win, I could easily see them covering.
I could easily see a 17, like 13, 14
13,
game.
17, 14, yeah. Either way, yep. 2017, something like that. All right, well, other NFC South games here. We've got the Lions and the Saints in New Orleans. Detroit a 4-point favorite. That seems low to me. I feel like Detroit, even in New Orleans, should be 5-6 point favorite. That should be a fun game, though. I like watching the Lions. They're a fun team to watch. And then we've got Falcons-Jets. That will not be a fun game to watch. That will be a terrible game to watch.
They have an over-under of 34. I thought 37 was bad.
It's 33.5 is what I'm seeing on ESPN. That's, wow. I don't think I've seen that over-under that low.
I get it.
Either way, probably both of those teams good for fantasy defense if you need a streamer this week like I do. And I picked up the Falcons. So hopefully that is a low-scoring game. All right. Any final thoughts here, Jerry, before we sign off?
I just really want to see some rhythm on offense. I know I kept saying that, but show me something, guys.
That's what we've been begging for all season.
Thomas Brown, Bryce Young, show me something to get hyped about. Like, I know people are still like, oh, we picked the wrong quarterback. He's on this team, guys. Let's try to prop him up. I mean,
he is. Again, the best thing that we can hope for the rest of this season, wins or losses, doesn't matter. Got to see Bryce get some confidence, make some plays. Go into the offseason feeling good. He's going to get stronger. He's going to get, more competent. Whoever the new coach that comes in is going to work with him diligently. I don't think even if he looks kind of like he's looked the rest of the season, I don't think all hope is lost.
No.
And even if it is,
he's our quarterback for 2 years. Another 2 years.
At least another 1 year. At least 2024.
Yeah.
I mean, we'll have our first round pick in 2025, but I hope that it's not, a top 3 pick.
No.
I really hope it isn't. But all right, I think that'll do it.
All right, we want to thank everyone for listening. If you like the show, please let your friends know. Please follow us on Twitter at MeowMix Podcast. If you have any questions or comments, you can email us at mailbag@meowmixpodcast.com. If you leave us a 5-star review with a comment on Apple Podcasts, we'll read it on the show. Please like and subscribe on YouTube. And guys, Greg Olsen does not need to be the head coach of this football team. Anybody who says that, stop it. Stop it.
I'd love it. I'd love to see it.
That's just a train wreck.
It would be chaos. It would be chaos.
Oh.
But Jerry, what if it worked?
I mean, if it works, I'm fine with it. I mean,
what if it worked, Jerry?
I mean, they could put AI
happen.
if it works. I'm happy. I mean,
it doesn't happen in the NFL.
No,
you don't get a player who spends a couple of years broadcasting go straight into a head coach job. It just doesn't.
I would be
happen in the NFL.
Ecstatic if he got a tight end coaching job here. Ecstatic.
Yeah, start off, in the right place, Greg. And I know the rumor came from Greg himself.
Yeah.
He said that he would be interested. There's no validity to it. Tepper didn't say he was going to reach out.
Hey guys, you want to hear a rumor? I would be interested if I was asked to coach the Panthers. Just saying.
I wouldn't be. I've seen how coaches are treated.
I'll take that. I'll take that league minimum coach's salary and run.
All right, I'll be the GM. You be the head coach. How's that sound? All right, everybody. Until Sunday, stay safe out there and keep pounding.
I'm rich.